And today, we once again see how Americans are being impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Weekly jobless claims coming in above estimates at 1.3 million. The staggering number highlighting the new reality for the job market here in the United States. And here to talk about it is LinkedIn's editor-in-chief, Dan Roth, who has some new data on how the job market is changing amid this pandemic. Dan, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, so let's talk about sort of three subcomponents of the job market. There must be jobs that are new as a result of COVID, aren't there?
We're seeing jobs that are new and jobs that are booming because of COVID. So I kind of put these into three big buckets. There are healthcare-related jobs. Some of these are totally new, like COVID contact tracers. We obviously did not have that before February or March. There are jobs that help us live our lives in quarantine. So you're seeing demand for personal shoppers, and that's not personal shoppers like people that can go to fancy department stores, or people who will go into grocery stores and get your goods for you, bring it to your home because you can't leave. Online tutors are another example of that. Anyone that helps us not leave our homes, but continue to live our lives, big job growth. And then the third one are people that are helping us, jobs that help us pivot to new careers. So life coaches, we're seeing a big increase in demand for life coaches. There are not just jobs that are going away, but entire industries that are going away or are deeply troubled because of this pandemic. And people in this industry are smart. They realize what's going on, and they're trying to find a way to get to an entirely different industry. So you're seeing really the market at work here saying, there is a crisis. How do I get out of this crisis?
It's interesting when I think about life coaches and counselors and things like that. I wonder how qualified some of those individuals are to do the jobs that they purport to be able to do.
Yeah, I think that you got to do your research on who the people are. I would go and see what they're writing, what they're sharing, how they're talking, talk to other people that they've worked with in the past. You got to do the due diligence. So just because people are taking these jobs doesn't mean you necessarily want to hire them, but there is a demand. There are people who are struggling right now to understand where to take their lives. And so that's one example as a life coach. But if you don't have any experience, if you have no skills, warehouse workers, that's an increasingly in-demand job.
Sure.
So that these e-commerce giants can send their goods to the right places. I'll tell you one really interesting one we saw was occupancy planners. Huge increase in demand for people that can take a business, take a company, an office, a school, and turn it into one where you can work or learn while being socially distant from your peers. So we talked to one occupancy planner who has had a 10% increase in hiring in the last year just because there is so much demand to retrofit these buildings.
Yeah, I would think that, and I would think industrial designers, architects, interior architects, there would be a high demand for them. If you look at some of the office furniture manufacturers, I would think that they might well be hiring designers to help, do modular offices in a way that is socially distanced and safe. I would also imagine that there are types of work in the healthcare field, most especially like telemedicine or therapists who are working now increasingly via software programs, Zoom, whatever, and doing their business that way. It may reflect then on the need for office space down the road.
Yeah, well, you are dead on. The demand for telemedicine skills is way up. We have seen a huge jump in the number of people who are in the healthcare industry who are listing telemedicine and Zoom as being skills that they have. So I think you're right about office space, but even more, we're just seeing doctors and nurses and healthcare providers say, this is a skill I have developed in the last few months. I'm now going to talk about it publicly. I'm going to say that I'm good at this. I'm going to teach others how to do it. I'm going to list it on my LinkedIn profile. Because that's where the jobs are. They've got to say that they have this totally necessary skill for the way that we are living our lives right now.
Hey, Dan, is there like a natural ebb and flow between the jobs that are on the way down during this pandemic and the jobs that are climbing in popularity? In other words, do people have to completely retrain to be an occupancy planner, or are there natural fits between the fields that are losing jobs in the skills that are needed in the fields that are creating jobs?
Yeah, I think that there's no straightforward answer. In some places, the jobs are gone, and it was a cliff that you fell off. If you worked on a cruise ship, those jobs do not exist right now. If you're in the travel industry, those jobs are barely coming back. So there's no easy off-ramp into another job for those kind of things. If you are an architect and you want to become an expert at socially distanced architecture, if that kind of thing does just take skill development and you can learn from others. And so I was just talking to an administrator at my children's school this morning, and they were talking about how they are retraining teachers. So people who can train teachers, these are teachers who have taught other teachers, now they are experts at online teaching. So those kind of people who have been smart and have been connecting dots and seeing where the industry is, where business is going, and have been gaining those skills quickly are now experts. I mean, you don't have to spend years and years studying this. For the last 3 months, we have been in a situation where you've had to become an expert super quickly on how to do business in an environment where people are not leaving their homes or can't get into their offices or are both doing their jobs and teaching their kids at the same time.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Dan Roth, LinkedIn, we appreciate it. And
Thanks
be
for having
sure, you bet, be sure to watch our special live town hall tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Invest in you, ready, set, grow your future tonight.